Welcome to Holding Space with Authentically Amy. This is a place where you don't have to perform, prove, or hold it all together. You're allowed to exhale, to feel, to speak, or just be. Here, your truth is safe, your emotions are honored, and your soul is gently invited to the surface. I'm not here to fix you because I don't believe you're broken. I believe your soul already knows the way. My role isn't to give you advice, but to hold a steady frequency of love so you have space to rise. This podcast is an extension of my own healing. If you're here, you belong, and I'm honored to sit beside you. Hi friends, I'm Amy Thurman, the host of and the face and the voice behind Holding Space with Authentically Amy. Thank you for tuning in and watching and tagging along for this incredible journey. I am so grateful for the opportunity to be able to hold space for others and the impact that it's having in the world. Many people message me asking me what my story is and why I started this podcast, and I realized that I'm so focused on holding space for other people, that making the episodes about other people, that I have forgotten to share my story with you. So this episode is about me sharing my story, and I will also be introducing you to a tool that I'll be offering you for free. Enjoy the show. April 26, 2014. I awoke in the middle of my living room floor with no idea how I got there. I found out that I had passed out and landed on my face on the hardwood floor. 6 months later, my doctors told me that the impact from that fall had sheared my brainstem, caused a traumatic brain injury, and it broke my neck. So I lived with a broken neck for 6 months before anyone ever knew that I had a broken neck. I literally could not lift my head off the bed without extreme pain, yet no one could figure out what was wrong with me. I went from one day working for a major university to the next day I couldn't even take myself to the restroom. I missed that entire year of my children's lives, and it was a miserable, miserable existence. I had a job that gave me my sense of self-worth because that's what society teaches us to do, right? To get our sense of self-worth from how much we can do and how much we could accomplish. And I was accomplishing a lot. So I had this pretty healthy sense of self-worth. But you can imagine for someone who gets their sense of self-worth from how much they can do to one day being completely incapacitated and not being able to do anything, literally cover over my eyes, earplugs in my ears, not able to speak above a whisper. Miserable. It was a miserable existence. It felt like torture to me because I literally couldn't do anything. And so I decided that I'm tired of being a burden to my family. They had to do everything for me because I couldn't even get out of the bed. So I thought, I think I just need to end this. Like, I don't want my family to have to deal with this. I sure don't want to live in this pain. Nobody can figure out what's wrong with me. I just got to put an end to this, and it will make life better for all of us. And so I knew that I had enough pain medication to make it happen. And it would be simple, it would be easy, and it would be painless. So that was my plan. But before I could get to that point, my heart said to me, what if you don't have to die? What if you can make a different choice? What if you can take the same energy you're using trying to die and you can flip it around and use it to fight to live? Maybe you can get better. And if you can get better, maybe you can use your experience to help others. And that really stuck with me. As a former educator and social worker, I thought, if I can help others still in this condition, maybe I should give it a try. And so I switched my mindset. It did not happen overnight. It took a matter of time to switch my mindset. And I began to fight to live with the intention of using my story to help others. And it became something I never intended. I began sharing my journey with a small community that I had. And they began to tell me that I was an inspiration, that I should write a book about this, that what I was going through was inspiring them. And I was totally shocked. I felt like I was clawing my way out of hell, yet they were telling me I was inspiring them. I was so dumbfounded. And they kept saying, you need to write a book. You need to write a book. This can help so many people. And I kept putting it off and putting it off because I thought, I don't want to document this. This is miserable for me. But I eventually listened and I wrote that book, and it's called Finding My Hero Within, a journey from incapacitation to empowerment. And it is my journey of living 10 years with a broken neck, because I did. My neck stayed broken for 10 years before I could have the surgery that repaired it, and how I fought my way through the medical and the disability systems, and how I fought my way to reclaim my life. That book became a bestseller in 2 days, and it took on a life of its own. And that was not what I intended. I intended to put this in a book, put it out there so people would be quiet and stop hassling me about it, but that maybe that could also be an inspiration for others. I began getting messages from readers telling me that my book had saved their life. And I said, "What? My words saved your life?" And they said yes, that they were on the verge of also ending their lives, and that they saw that I made a different choice and that maybe they could make a different choice too. And others said, "I thought my life was bad. When I read your story, I realized my life is nothing compared to what you went through. If you can make it through that, I can make it through what I'm going through." And that was so humbling to me. I didn't know how to handle that. And that book, like I said, took on a life of its own. And with it came opportunities that I had only ever dreamed of, that I didn't think would actually be a reality for me. I was able to rub shoulders with celebrities, attend an event at the Emmys, and hand my book to celebrities, writers, producers, and directors who were interested in turning my book into a full-length movie. I had my face on a Times Square billboard, and I had so many other things that literally were like a dream come true for me, that happened so fast in such a short period of time that I didn't have the capacity to receive that level of success at the time. People started referring to me as a celebrity, which is not something I wanted. Fame and notoriety, they don't motivate me. I'm motivated by people's hearts, how many people I can help. And so when people started referring to me as a celebrity, it really sent me into a place that I, again, wasn't prepared for, because I didn't want to be seen that way. I didn't want to be held up on a pedestal. I'm just a human. I'm just a person like everyone else. I just wanted to be Amy, and I wanted people to see me that way. I would go out in public and people would run up to me and ask if they could take a picture and sign their book. A friend did help me understand that better when he said to me, "You need to understand, Amy, that this title of celebrity is not something that you have given yourself. This title of celebrity is something that others have placed upon you because your message is so positively impacting them that that's the way they see you." And that helped me understand that this is not something I chose. This is not what I set out to do. It happened because my message is helping people. But even in the midst of that, I went into this deep, dark place because, again, I didn't know how to receive. I didn't have the capacity to receive that amount of success in such a short time. And so I began falling apart behind the scenes. I didn't tell anyone because I had written this book about resilience and about being strong and overcoming adversity and pushing through. And I wasn't. I wasn't strong. I wasn't resilient. I was falling apart. I literally would sit in the middle of my bedroom floor and stare at the wall because I didn't know what else to do. I was frozen. I stopped eating. I stopped taking care of myself. I stopped changing clothes. I just became like a zombie, and I didn't know what to do about it. And I didn't know if I could tell anyone, because in my mind, my reputation and my career were at stake. If people learned that I'm really not resilient and I'm really not strong, what would they think? And in my mind, my career would be ended. And so I kept it a secret until I realized that I can no longer do this. I can no longer do this alone. I need professional help. And so I did something, one of the strongest, most courageous, brave things that I have ever done. I walked myself into a mental health hospital and I asked for professional help. Doing that made me realize that strength is actually a paradox. Society teaches us that strength is pushing through, its resilience, it's keep going and don't stop. But you know what? Strength is also allowing yourself to fall apart and ask for help. And so a paradox is two things that seem opposite, but can actually be true at the same time. And so I came to learn that strength, what I was doing, allowing myself to fall apart and asking for help, was actually a very, very powerful form of strength. And I learned something during my week in that mental health hospital that I wouldn't have learned anywhere else. I learned that it wasn't medication that saved me. It wasn't therapy that saved me. And while those have their place, those weren't what saved me. What saved me was something far more human. It was someone holding space for me, someone allowing me a safe place to fall apart without judgment. That's simply what holding space is, where we don't judge. We allow people to be human. We allow the emotions to surface and the tears to flow and the rage to come and the silence to be there if that's what the person needs. And I figured out while I was experiencing that, you know what? I have been doing this. I have been doing this holding space for people for over 2 decades. And I didn't even realize that's what it was. I've been doing that for other people for so long. It's my turn. It's time for someone to hold space for me. And that powerful realization took on a whole new meaning once I got out of that mental health hospital. I don't think we necessarily have a mental health crisis, although there are some mental health issues, of course. I think as society as a whole, this world, we have a presence crisis. We are more connected than ever through our devices, but we are also more disconnected than ever because of our devices. And then what people need is not more advice. It's a safe place to fall apart without judgment. And so that's what I began doing is holding space for people. And I began this podcast as a result of that, as just a way to help other people be able to share things that they need to get off their chest that maybe they don't have a safe place to share it. And the responses that I have been getting are just mind blowing to me. People tell me that they're sharing things with me that they've never shared with anyone else. They're saying that once they felt stuck, that now they don't feel that stuck anymore because whatever it was that they needed to share was what was keeping them stuck. They got that out of their system and they began to flow, to feel that sense of flow again. People who seem to have everything together on the surface, who you would look at and you would say, wow, that person's really got it all together, are messaging me saying, I'm falling apart. I think I need the help that you got. I think I need to do something. Can you show me what to do or can you guide me? And it has been such an honor for me to not only listen to the stories, but help guide people to get help. One person even said after a conversation that he had known for a while that something wasn't right, but that after a conversation, he called his psychiatrist, his doctor, and was diagnosed with bipolar disorder as an adult. Didn't know that's what he had been living with all his life. But because of the conversation that we had about me sharing my mental health journey, I've been sharing it openly on my Authentically Amy series and holding space for him, he came to that realization and he got help. And now he's sharing that message with others. I firmly believe that the more that we talk about this, the more we put it out there, that we can break the stigma around mental health and we can begin to see that holding space for people is really what people need. It's presence. We need to offer safe presence without judgment. At the time of this recording, I have 2 books that are bestsellers, also working on a 3rd book. And I want to share with you a resource that I have created for my clients that I think fit in this podcast and this message perfectly. You will probably see it come up more while I'm holding space with people because it is a tool that I think everybody can use. I will share my screen momentarily, but I want to tell you a little bit about this and how it came to be first. I call this the emotion frequency chart. Understanding that science shows us that everything is energy. Everything is made up of energy, even if it looks like a solid. When you get down to it, it is actually a form of energy, and all energy vibrates at a specific frequency. So, this emotion frequency chart that I created is 100 different emotions categorized into 10 stages based on the vibrational frequency of that emotion. My first book, I talked about the rainbow, the Roy G. Biv. Each of those colors has a different frequency, and they appear in the order of their frequency, the order of their vibration. It's really, really a powerful, exciting, cool thing to look into. So I took that same concept and applied it to these 100 different emotions. Now, this is something that was given to me. I didn't create this on my own. I was guided to write this down. And so I sat at my computer, and it took 2 days to create this. And this was before I had even heard of Dr. David Hawking's work in Power versus Force, because it's very similar. The work is very similar. And when people see my emotion frequency chart, they ask me, oh, is this because of Dr. David Hawking's chart or his spiral, the thing that he created? And at first I said, no, I don't even know what that is. What are you talking about? And it was really, really cool to see the similarities. I believe that multiple people are given the same or similar messages to help spread it more widely, to help it reach more people. And I believe that's what this was. So let's take a look at it. I'm going to share my screen. For those of you listening and not watching, I will do my best to describe what I'm showing you. But you can also get a copy of this for free on my website at www.getamyshelp.com/free. www.getamyshelp.com/free. Here's the emotion frequency chart. You will see it's 10 different stages, and I did use the colors of the rainbow. So I am introducing this as a tool because one of the things that I have also come to learn is that you can't adequately or effectively hold space for other people until you have learned to hold space for yourselves. That we must start with ourselves. Like anything else, you can't give what you don't have. And so this is a tool to help when holding space for yourself to identify where you are and where you want to be. So I'm just going to use one as an example. Let's take, I know, especially talking about mental health, that a lot of people deal with anxiety. And so we'll take anxiety. Anxiety is in stage 4. It's alongside disillusionment, fear, inadequacy, judgment, being moody, nervous, reluctant, and vulnerable. So those of you listening, stage 4 is green, and I just read all of the emotions that are in stage 4. Let's take anxiety. So if I know that I'm feeling anxious right now, I'm in stage 4. Is that where I want to be? I want to be all the way at stage 10. I want to be experiencing those very high vibrational level emotions. But I can't get to stage 10 until I deal with the emotions that I'm having right now in the present. And so right now in the present, if I'm dealing with anxiety, then I have to ask myself a few questions. The thing that I offer free on my website is just the chart itself, the 10 stages with the emotions. There is an option to purchase the whole thing, which is what I'm showing you right now, a piece of the whole thing, where I break down each stage and each of those emotions and explain it further. So in stage 4, anxiety is one of those. And if you're experiencing anxiety, this is what most of the time people say. It feels like a swarm of bees buzzing in your chest, your heart racing and your breath shallow, as if your body is bracing for a threat you can't quite see. And I walk you through all of these. There's a whole process to it, but I'm not going to explain it right now. And then there's a question at the end of each stage. So you basically saw that it's 10 stages. You identify which emotion you're feeling. Sometimes we don't know what it's called. And so the chart is helpful a lot of times just to identify what it is you're feeling. The full package helps to break it down even further to help you understand what it feels like in your body. But just having the chart that's free can be helpful. What do we do most of the time when we have anxiety? What do we do with it? Or really any emotion? We stuff it down. We pretend like it's not there. We curse it. We say, stop feeling that way. Why are you feeling this way? It's so stupid. You shouldn't be anxious about this. Am I right? Is that the way we talk to ourselves? Like we think it's just horrible that we feel this way and that we shouldn't be feeling this way because we don't think anyone else feels that way. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. I've done that to myself too. But I'm asking you, and the holding space method is asking you to flip that switch and allow your emotions to be part of your communication system because that's what they are. They are there to send you a message so that you can learn from it or even get insight from it or gain something from it. But when we continue to push it down and push it away and curse it and act like it's insane that we feel that way, then we don't get the message that it's sending. So once you have identified the emotion, then I'm going to offer you some questions to ask yourself instead of being angry or pushing it away, to come from a place of curiosity. I've learned that curiosity can be a much more powerful way to deal with life than assuming or expecting anything. So one of the first questions I want to offer that I ask myself and that you can ask yourself is, what happened or what is happening that caused this anxiety or whatever the feeling is to surface right now? And just sit with it and allow your body to tell you. I'm telling you, our bodies are so powerful. If we ask it questions, it will answer us in ways that we understand. I know that sounds kooky. So I know it sounds woo-woo, but it's so true. Ask your body, what happened or what is happening that caused this, whatever emotion to surface, and sit with it. And I can almost guarantee you will have a random thought or you will have an idea of what happened or is happening that caused the anxiety to come up. And then ask, what message is this anxiety or emotion trying to send me? What do I need to learn from this? What can I gain from understanding why this emotion is surfacing right now and what does this emotion need from me right now. Because most of the time, our emotions need presence. I'm telling you, we have a presence issue. Our emotions need our presence. They need our attention. And if they don't get our presence or attention, guess what they do? They keep showing up and keep showing up until we are forced to pay attention to them. Just like my story, I was forced to lay flat in bed and not do anything. And that was my body's way of getting my attention because I had ignored all the other signs before that. I also encourage you to ask, how can I honor this emotion right now and allow it to serve its purpose? Because it has a purpose. It's here for a reason. What is that? And then once that emotion dissipates, it starts to lighten and lessen. You've kind of figured all of that out, what purpose it's there to serve. Then another emotion might surface. It might not be immediately. It may take some time, but this is to help you get more in touch with your emotions, with your body, to learn what's happening in your body, why it's happening, and what you can learn from it, so that you can become this safe place for yourself, that you can hold space for yourself without judgment. Last thing before I wrap up here, because of this experience, I have also created the holding space method. SPACE is an acronym. S stands for start with yourself. Before you can hold space for others, you have to start with yourself. P is presence, not performance. That we must remove the masks. We must remove who we're pretending to be or who we're performing, and allow ourselves just to be present with who we really are, to get to the core of who we are authentically. A is allow it to be. Don't force anything. There are no expectations here. You allow whatever surfaces to surface. You ask those curiosity questions and you allow it to be what it is. You don't try to fix it. There's no fixing, there's no changing, there's no rushing. There is only allowing it to be at this stage. C is for compassion, not control, not judgment. That whatever surfaces in yourself or when you're holding space for others, that you offer compassion. You allow it to be and you offer compassion. If they're raging, if that's what they need to do, then you allow them to rage and you show compassion. If you are falling apart like I was and you can't stop crying, then you show compassion for yourself. You don't tell yourself, get it together, stop acting like that, which is what I would tell myself. You show compassion and say that this is here for a reason. It's trying to show me something or teach me something. What can I learn from it? And then the E is for exit with care, that we leave the person or leave ourselves better than we found ourselves. That sometimes it's really hard for us if there's a difficult situation to exit gracefully. Sometimes we just cut people off and are like, okay, no, I'm done. I'm out of here. Can't handle this. I'm out, But that's not what we do. We exit with care and we leave that bridge open and available in case the person or in case you need to cross it again and come back over and allow another holding space session for yourself. If you find it interesting and want to know more, please just reach out to me. My email is amy@getamyshelp.com. You can message me on any of the socials or on YouTube, and I will be happy to share more with you. If you're interested in allowing me to hold space for you and being a guest on the podcast, there's a link on my website, again, that you can go check that out and sign up to become a guest. Thank you again for watching, for listening, for tagging along, and for sharing these episodes. If you have found it helpful and think it will be helpful for others, please share it. Please offer it to someone who you think could benefit from this. And until next time, I'll be here holding space for you. If something in this episode stirred something in you, if you breathed deeper, softened, or felt a pull inward, consider this your invitation. Whether you're ready to share publicly or prefer to remain anonymous, I'd love to hold space for you too. This work isn't just for podcasts, it's for people everywhere. And I'm bringing it into businesses, schools, communities, organizations, anywhere humans need a place to be and for someone to hold space for them. To learn more or to schedule your own session or to be a guest on this podcast, visit www.getamyshelp.com or just reach out to me. I'll meet you with open arms and a quiet, sacred seat. Until next time, thank you for being beautifully, unapologetically human.